on top of Meridian Hill Park. But if you look down, you're going to see a waterfall that's in the shape of an ankh. Do you think that's a coincidence?
You're not going to get an appreciation because there's no water, it's not running. But this is the ankh that I was talking about.
And there's Tekhens at each of the corners. Rebirth, resurrection. A coincidence? I don't think so.
A man-made waterfall in terms of a park like this is the only park in the United States that's done like this. And they would plant papyrus and lotus planted it every year in the spring.
In Washington, D.C., lotus and papyrus was the two national plants of Ancient Kemet. In fact, Tutankhamun is a picture of him coming out of the lotus plant, being reborn. You'll see that in his exhibit. Okay? And so the lotus, you say, well, why the lotus plant? Why are they planted here? It represents the 5 elements. The roots of the plant is in the ground, the earth, first element. The stalk comes up through the water, second element. The leaves open up onto the air on top of the water, air, third element. The fruit, the actual lotus flower, stays submerged under the water until the sun rises. When the sun rises, the flower comes out of the water and then opens up. When the sun sets, it closes and goes back into the water. And so that represents the rebirth and resurrection that happen every day. And so, but that's only 4 elements. When it opens up, it gives off, we call the ether, the smell, the sacred blue lotus, which can alter your consciousness, allowing you to create and think at the same time. And this sacred blue lotus is what you see the women wearing on their hair. In the pictures at this monument, you see them smelling the flower. So this flower was almost intoxicating in terms of giving you ma'at, equilibrium, balance, harmonious balance. So that's the national. Now in Meridian Hill Park, why are they planting the lotus and the papyrus? And we know the papyrus, the first paper of man.
Tekhens represent the 4 cardinal points, and on outside of each Tekhen you'll see 4 urns, and the urns carry the ashes, DNA of their ancestors outside to be resurrected. So you see the parallel here. There's the urn of their ancestors, and then the Tekhen is placed in it for the resurrection, you know. And so you see this here. This is the entrance coming into the park. Look, this is the Scottish Rite's temple. If you notice the Masonic temple, look at the steps. 3, 5, 7, 9. Whole Masonic order, that equals all up to 33. So you get to 27 degrees, you know, so this is where teaching is being done right here. Yeah. This is one of the teachings temple. But you don't enter. You got to enter the building on the side. But this is their facade. But look, you see the double-headed eagle up top? And rays coming, so that's like Ra. See, like Ra behind them with the rays coming out. And then look at the 2 urns on both sides. So we've carried their ancestors from across the water here to be implanted in America. From the east comes the light. And so they're saying from the east, is from Africa, comes the light. From the west comes the law. So they take our information and then they rule the world with it. From the east comes the light, from the west comes the law.
The Scottish Rites building is where you get your 33rd degree all the way around, 33 columns.
People walking by here have no clue. Look at your steps. 3, 5, 7, 9. But now look on both sides of the entrance. There's 2 Heru. Well, these are called Sphinxes. These are not Heru and Maquettes. These are actually Sphinxes. One, the eye is open, and the other one, the eye is closed. They didn't try to even fake it. They just put some European faces on there, so they didn't try to imitate it at all.
Heru and Maquette is what we call the Sphinx. The Sphinx is just a mythological creature that comes from Greece that has nothing to do with ancient Egypt. The Greeks named that monument the Sphinx when they came in the 32nd, the last dynasty of Ancient Kemet, or the last period of Ancient Kemet. But it was called Heru im Aketi, Heru of the rising and setting sun. And so Heru is the great protector of Ma'at, from sunrise to sunset. Imagine if your son wanted to be like Heru and Maquette, you would be saying, yeah, son. But if he said, I want to be the Sphinx, you'd be like, I don't know about that. You know?
Just look at that church. Do you see that? Do you know what that's called? That's the flower of life. See that window? The window in that church? That's the flower of life. That's talking about the 4, your cardinal points, your meridians. It's all an astrological symbol. So they're just showing you, they're just taking our stuff and just using it over and over again. That's geometry. That's all done from Ancient Kemet, flower of life. Directly in the center of his face. Look, the cobra for protection, and the Ankh directly in the center. Those spots. Also, something significant. Even the addresses that they have are significant in terms of numerology. So they're not built. These addresses that these temples have also have significance. It's not that they just, that's a nice spot. No. They made sure that this address, so this equals a 5. What is it? 7, 10, 14, 14, 1 and 4 is 5. 5 is creativity, energy, rebirth, renewal. Rays coming from around. So this is symbolic of Ra. So you got the line in the center looking artistic, but you see the sun's rays all around. This Rice building, look right in the center. The double-headed eagle with the sunburst all around it. And then those the design is in the cardinal points on the zodiac.
And on the 16th Street, there are more churches and spiritual buildings than any other street in the world. Do you think that's a coincidence? The prime meridian, spirituality, all of these temples, churches, synagogues, temples, all line up on 16th Street? I don't think so. You see, Ancient Kemet was the most spiritual place in the world, in the modern world. And so they were trying to duplicate that energy.
As we walk down 16th Street in Washington, D.C., and look out in Meridian Park, we see the step pyramid that's on top of the Scottish Rite Masonic Temple. If we look at this step pyramid, or the roof that's in a step pyramid shape, it almost takes us back to Ancient Kemet when we see the step pyramid of King Zoser, or Horus Neche-Iket, or Heru Neche-Iket, as referred to him in the Old Kingdom. If you look at these two structures, it's very hard to make the conclusion that the roof of this Masonic